This is exercise 4-6. So we have to do, using the information given in the exercise, and it's all scattered, sadly, we have to do a balance sheet for the company at December 31st of 2019. So in order to save a tiny bit of time, I went ahead and put the title in and then some of the categories. So as you see going down, there's some categories. And I'll have to shift things around, move things around a little bit as we start filling everything in. Okay. So normally what I would do is I would go through all these and write like what everything is, like current liabilities, current assets, and so on and so forth. But since I can't write on this very easily, I'm just going to go through and put them where they belong as we go. And I'll have to shift and move things a little bit. So income taxes payable are current liabilities. So I'm going to come down here. I'm actually going to go ahead and skip a line over there because I know that accounts payable will go above it. So I have income taxes payable. And notice I'm sending it up as a report form. So that way I'm not having to do stuff side by side. I think it's just going to be easier. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. So 3,800. Okay, now these minuses are credits, all right? So no brackets means it's a debit, brackets means it's a credit. In income taxes payable is liability, it should have a credit balance. All right, prepaid items are current assets. I'm going to drop down a little bit here. I don't know what else we're going to run into. So prepaid items are 1,800. All right, additional paid in capital and common stock is an element of equity, and it's part of contributed capital. We've got, I see common stock, I see preferred stock. I'm going to abbreviate a little bit. So this is 9,300. Land. I'm going to put that in plant, property, and equipment. It doesn't really tell me. So I don't have that yet under my assets. So I'm going to put that. Plant, property, and equipment. We have land of 12,200. A note payable due in 2022, that would be a long-term liability. A notes receivable due 2021 would be an investment. Accounts receivable would usually be second. And that's the one that's 12,600. This is actually 16,400. A premium on balance payable, that goes with bond. Bonds are long-term liabilities. This down some. All right, so I'm going to have a bond payable. And I'm going to have, actually it's going to be plus the premium. Accounts payable 13,100. Inventory, it's current assets. $7,400. Accumulated depreciation on buildings. Let's going to go down in here somewhere. So I'm going to do the building. It's accumulated. All right, and it's going to be, you're going to put it in as a negative because it's a contra asset. All right, patents are going to be intangible assets. So let me move these guys down. It's going to be 4,600. Then I have some equipment. That is plant property equipment. Okay, then I have additional paid in on preferred, so that's back down here to equity. $700. All right, allowance for doubtful accounts is going to come up here, and actually what I need to do is it's going to come out of my accounts receivable. So I'm going to move these two down. I'm going to move this over to here. And I'm going to say minus the allowance for doubtful accounts. I'm abbreviating, sorry. So minus 1,600. It's a contra asset account. All right, bonds payable are 23. That's a long-term liability. So here's my bonds payable are 23,000. Buildings are 57,400. Sinking fund to retire bonds payable. Okay, so that's like cash and other assets that are set aside to pay the bonds payable. So they would actually go like into an other, or like an investment, sort of an investment. Here it is. So I'm going to have bond sinking fund. 5,000. Not very much set aside, do they? But the bond is only 23, so. All right, advances to customer, advances from customers, long term. And notice it has a credit balance. So what this is money that people have paid you, and you either owe them the money back or you owe them the job. Since it's an advance from a customer, I would say that you owe them a job. It's like when somebody pays a deposit. Like if you pay a deposit, that's not really that person's money. That's still your money, and they owe it back to you, or they owe you a job. All right, so that's going to be another liability. Advances from customers. It's really like unearned revenue, but it's long term. All right, cash. It's going to be up here at the top of the current assets. 4,300. Accumulated depreciation equipment. This one. $700. Retained earnings is 18,300. That comes down here. Under equity. $18,300. Preferred stock. $100 par. is 18.6. Common stock, I'm going to write that in here, down here. It's a $10 car. And then wages payable is a current liability. Uh-oh, what happened here? Accounts payable. Oh, I'll put my wages payable on there. 12.7. Income taxes payable are 38. And I'm hoping accounts payable are 13.1. Yes, okay. All right, so I think I have everything, but now I need to make it look nice. All right, so I'm going to net these two. And that's going to give me my total current assets. I'm actually going to bring it out to the side. Line under this one. And a line under this one. Alright, so that makes it clear that these two are being added to get to that, and then all these are being added to get to the total current assets. Alright, and then I would like to put a line under here, so I'm going to move all this down. Actually, I probably don't need to move it all down, but I'm going to anyway. Alright, so I have plant and equipment. Goes to right there. Alright, so I can net these. This one. And my total plant, property, and equipment. It's going to be the sum of those three. I'm going to make that pretty. Alright, then move this down. Total long-term investments. Going to be the sum of these two. My patent, since I just have the one, I'm actually just going to pull it out, and I'm not even worried about totaling, since I just have the one. All right, and then my total assets will be all of these added up. And it needs a double underline. Okay, I want to make all this look even a little bit prettier here in a minute. Okay, so then I'm here for liabilities and equity. So my liabilities, my current liabilities, I need to move this down. Another one, I guess. Alright, I need to total out my current liabilities. It's important that you put the subtotals so that people who are analyzing financial statements can easily pick up the totals, the subtotals. Alright, let's see my bond. I need to add these two together. And some lines in here. All right, so I need to find my total long-term liabilities. Slide this down one. I like to have a little, actually I'm going to slide all this down one. This one down one because I'd like to have a little bit of a line. And actually this number, I'm just going to move on out here to the side since it's just the one. And then I need to add those up. Alright, so this is my total other, I'm sorry, this is my total liabilities. All right, and I don't put a double underline under that because I'm not done yet. I need to add liabilities and equity together to get my total. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, actually, all these numbers, I'm going to slide in. All right. And I'm going to add them up to get total contributed capital. And then these two add up to get my total equity. Okay, then the last thing is to add to get the total liabilities and equity. Now I'm going to add these up. I can already tell they're not going to equal my total assets. They're going to be too big. All right, and they are 129.4. I'm going to make this a double underline thing versus 118.1. All right, but I already found my mistake. Wages payable should be 1,400, and I have 12.7. I copied the wrong number. So 1,400. And this is what I mean, though. If y'all get really going and you get stuck on something and can't find it, just text me and let me find it for you because sometimes it's really hard to find. If you flat out left something out, then it's gonna be that number that you're off by. If you put something in the wrong side, like you added if you added instead of subtracting, then you're going to be off by double that amount. So always divide your number by 2 and see if you can find that number. But this particular kind of mistake would have been very hard to find. I just had to go through and look at all my numbers to see which one I had wrong. Okay. So now they total out, and now I'm just going to make it look pretty. All right, and notice that really all of my columns here are just to make it easy to see what numbers we're adding up. I'm going to change all these to have commas. And then these bottom ones, I'm actually going to change to dollars. Actually, a few of them I'm going to change to dollars. And so I'm going to do a few of them. I'm going to double click this format painter. And then, oh gosh, I don't have to like do the same thing every single time. Oh, let's put the double underlines. I'm so silly. Let me turn that format painter off. But anyway, you get the idea. I'll go through and fix that. I'll save this and I'll post it like by itself. But typically the first number in a column, you want to have the dollar sign. Okay, and then this stuff, you're going to want to like do the merge and center. Sadly, you have to do each line individually. But you'll need to practice making this look pretty, because if you ever have to do this at work, it needs to look pretty. And it needs to look like a formal financial statement. Sorry. And then, oh, what do I have there? I'll put that one spot by accident. What else did I do that by accident? Is it fixed? Yes. Okay, so then you can make some things bold if you want to. I mean, that always helps it look a little better. And that I could do the format painter if I wanted to. Except I don't want to. I knew I was going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop now. Thought it was off. Okay, so anyway, there you go.